This podcast is just for fun. It's all fake. Don't believe us. Look, do your own research.
Phil, settle down.
Welcome to
the
show.
We are all back.
Yep, the whole crew.
So
we heard.
How many of you guys listened to or were a part of all of the Dulce episodes?
I listened to the last
I've listened to all of them,
and I have not caught up on it yet. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I personally think that was our best series we have done.
It's pretty great.
And if it's not, it's right there with the MK Ultra.
It's definitely, I was going to say, it's definitely the best story.
Yeah.
MK Ultra might have had just more, like...
I tell you what, though, where it started and where it went with all the different episodes, that was crazy.
And we're done with the Dulce base, but we're going to do a spin-off episode.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's produced 5 episodes. So it's kind of like the MK Ultra, because MK Ultra produced, it had its things, but then it had the spin-offs. This one is also creating spin-offs. But speaking of MK Ultra, because that just naturally came up and then my brain went to it, have you seen...
You're conditioned.
That... No. Well, yes. The CIA... So the CIA went into Tulsi Gabbard's office and stole a ton of MK Ultra and another set of my thing might have been, there was another set. I have it in my notes. It was the JFK files.
JFK.
Oh, okay.
So the CIA just went in and claim, and they can't legally. They have no legal bounds to do that.
Well, and how do we know that
they have no legal? There's two things.
Legally, has the CIA ever followed?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, two things. They're not legally allowed to go through operations like that. Yeah. On in America on
U.S. soil.
On U.S. soil, and two, they went against presidents. The president's
treason
stuff,
right?
Yeah. And so they went in and and also this. But here's the thing: the CIA is who freaking covered it up.
I know.
So anybody who's glad that the CIA just took those files is so stupid, because I saw people so excited about it. They're like, finally somebody shows Trump. No, it's the CIA, dude. Now, if
so they're not going to see the light of day now.
If they do it, it's going to be
a little rewritten.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's going to be a remix.
Unless here's the thing, and we'll see, we'll see. Maybe they had already gone through and scanned all of these files, and so the CIA is going to release them, and then the Trump cabinet is going to be like, oh, well, Tulsi Gabbard is going to release them and be like, no, actually this.
Yeah.
And so now it's so stupid.
And then it comes down to whose files are real.
Also, though, how do we know that the CIA did this? If they just went in and stole and stuff, did they leave a note? The CIA was us.
I believe from footage. Yeah, from video cam footage.
So
of them going in and taking it.
So
I think they claimed they did it. I think
they're just
yeah, we did this.
They announced it.
Yeah, and they said the reason they did it was because they were ordered to release them, so the CIA took it among themselves to make sure they got released.
And who's stopping them? You know what I mean? Like, they've done so many things through history. Like, who's stopping them?
Well, I don't know.
I
don't. I feel like I've seen Tulsi Gabbard mad, and I don't think I would want to be.
Tulsi Gabbard is one that's yeah. She's she's a scary lady.
Pistol. Man.
She's a scary lady. I'll just put it that way. There's very few women that I would never want. Like, if I was walking down a dark alley and Tulsi Gabbard was there, I would just be like, all right, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
My bad. Didn't mean to step in your alley.
Take my wallet.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
I apologize.
But here's the other thing. They haven't been released. So
I know, right? That's so.
Why did they take them? They're clearly reading through them before they release them. What is the point?
As a writer, it takes time to do revisions, Tanner.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, for real.
I know.
Anyway, yeah. We started on current events. I'm drinking Bum Energy Cola flavor. You can't get that around here now.
I'm having a guava strawberry rainstorm.
Ooh, I am like super hyper over caffeinated, so I am just drinking a Liquid Death
I've just got
sweet tea.
vanilla Coke, but I accidentally took a micro nap, so. Micro naps are the worst.
Yes.
Because I am going to be thrown off the whole rest of the day now.
That tastes like cola. That's good. I did not even mean.
Mine does too.
Nice. That's funny. I didn't intentionally mean to bring that up in that order. It just came up, and I was like, "We got to pounce on this. This is a current event."
I know though.
Yeah.
It worked out perfect.
But goodness.
Interesting you talk about CIA rewriting stuff, because we're going to have a little bit of that today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Also, to tease Patreon.
A little bit of a feeling.
I was going to say.
I'm going to tease the Patreon just to entice you to go get the Patreon.
Yes.
Patreon.com/BA Bigfoot. You get, for $5, you support the show. Like that's, and you get the extra episodes, all of that. And you get every extra episode. It's not like you just get that week. So if you jump into Patreon right now, you get
our whole history.
Like 13, however many, I don't know how many there are now, but you get a lot of, we call them BA Backstage. They are very unfiltered.
Today's episode has a clip of Phil singing on it. It's gorgeous.
What?
It's magnificent.
I missed that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good.
A lot.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Man,
Sound like Fergie.
I was busy feeding my child. Goodness.
But no, so you can go get all of the back episodes.
So which Fergie?
That's true. And then if you want to support the show at a higher dollar amount and also have priority in suggesting episode topics, and also we will do some extra lives on there for just the $10 subscribers. You will get extra content. The $10 subscribers, it does just go to support the show that much more. Really, the whole purpose of the $10 is more just to support the show at a higher dollar amount, because it will, and it's adding up, and we are looking at cameras and everything now. So it's like, we're really getting the ball rolling on growing the show, and it's awesome. It's because of you guys on Patreon. So thank you guys. This last episode, man, we talked about I would say probably 40 minutes of content that I could not possibly edit enough to put on the podcast.
There's no way it would make it on the podcast.
It would take me a week of editing, and it still would probably get.
And they would have no idea what we're talking about.
You said the C word 200 times.
It would get shadow banned so fast, and it would probably get banned pretty fast. So, if you want our banned episodes, that's the BA Backstage, where we just hang out, we talk. Sometimes you might just get us talking about gym stories.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get us talking about banned stuff that literally we can't put on the show.
Sometimes we argue. Like we solve some stuff on.
We
there.
probably
really
argue.
do. We figure some stuff out on there.
Yeah, I feel like we argue more on the Backstage than we do the regular podcast.
Like healthy arguments.
Yeah,
I don't want anybody to think we fight, because we don't.
Stuff.
I mean, we have great discussions.
Yeah.
We really do. Yeah,
we don't want people to think we fight, but don't worry about my black eye.
That's right.
It's not related.
Hey, I barely make it
don't have a
down
black
for the
eye.
Patreon, so don't blame me on that.
All right.
That's why we blame you.
It is. Oh. I think I've told you guys. Yeah. We've mentioned it a few times. I was like, oh, have I mentioned it yet? We do have a date we have a date scheduled for the Insane Labs CEO and COO.
Oh, excellent.
We officially have the date. It's on the calendar for them to be on the podcast. And so I am excited. They've got a lot of products that they're rolling out. They just released Proline.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
I've seen a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah. They got the Insanity releases at the end of May, early June. Their new flavors. They're doing a lot of cool stuff. that is why we talked about it like 2 months ago. They were coming on the show, and every time I was like, hey, when are we doing it? They're like, we're so busy. And I was like, okay, hey, when are we doing it? We're really busy.
Yeah,
and now I'm like
touring across the U.S. trying hamburgers from
so finally
joining the nation.
Dalton finally gets back to me. He's like, hey, could we just do it in June? And I was like, let's get it on the calendar, please. And he was like, it'll finally be like, it'll clear up a little bit by then. Yeah. And now in hindsight, seeing all the stuff we're releasing, I'm like, oh yeah, you guys were actually working on some stuff. So
yeah, in fact, even in the live, they were talking about, okay, we got to get back to the warehouse because we've got
even when they would
handle, so we gotta get
even when they would.
Yeah.
In the ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet heeding the Maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?
All right, Bigfoot affirmations. Who wants to do the number?
Ooh.
Mike.
Okay.
Mike gets the number.
Right,
Wait for it. Disregard that number. That's the wrong number.
If it's the right number.
It's not the right number.
What if it's the right number?
It's not the right number.
It was the right number.
That's the right number.
Oh.
Okay.
18.
No, you were close. 12.
Oh, I think
You
we
had
just
one of the two.
18.
What was the
No,
number?
I think we had 17. I think I guessed 18 and it was
Okay.
17.
What was the
Maybe
number
it's
you
the other way around.
disregarded? If it was-
18.
Oh, you just said the same number? I told you to pick a new number. Okay.
My bad.
All right. Who wants to do...
I didn't trust you.
Yeah, I know. Who wants to do the...
Phil does.
Phil? All right. Okay, go.
Something to do with like water and hills. I don't know.
Really close. Keep going.
The sky.
No, like play it out.
Oh,
what does
the
it say?
water and hill. The something about rivers and mountains or something like that. I don't know.
Wow, dude. That is really close. Even the quiet ones have powerful stories.
Not at all.
So close.
I had a feeling,
So
but then you kept prodding, and I was like, oh,
All right,
maybe
Phil.
I'm closer.
Phil, next time we got to hijack the Bigfoot affirmation and we got to throw it at Tanner. And
Deal, yeah.
I did that to him last time.
you?
He did.
Yeah,
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
But we can do it again. We should do it again.
Absolutely. I'm down for that.
We're like 0 for 27 or something on that. I don't even know.
Yeah, not
Odd.
good.
We're not very psychic.
No. Or
Well, you got to
prophetic.
go to
Not when it comes
training
to-
for that.
Not when it comes to Bigfoot affirmations, anyway.
Yeah.
You got to go to training for that, and they won't let you on any conspiracy theory podcasts afterwards.
You don't think so?
Nope. Pretty confident on that one.
Okay. This episode's going to be crazy,
Rapid fire.
okay?
Send it.
Oh, that's true.
Talk about the stuff.
We have current events.
Yeah.
Me and I have a ton of current events.
Oh my gosh.
Let's start with the UK just implemented a full digital ID system
Okay.
that a lot of people believe is a precursor to the
Mark of the Beast.
Mark of the Beast. And now in the UK, you cannot buy, sell, or trade goods unless you have bought into the full-blown digital ID.
Is that
have
okay? I'm fully against.
You cannot pay cash.
I'm fully against. However, is that going to help reduce the stabbing rate?
Probably not.
Okay.
You know what also will not help reduce the stabbing rate?
Knife control.
Flock cameras keep identifying a man in Colorado who has no criminal history at all whatsoever. They keep identifying him as having a search warrant and like for a pretty legit crime. And so the cops keep pulling him over, and allegedly the cops are not using flock cameras. But yet, he keeps getting pulled over for having a search warrant that the flock cameras have identified him as having a search warrant, and he does not have any search warrants, and they keep arresting him. He has been falsely arrested.
Search warrant, two different things.
Whatever. He has been arrested like 5 times now.
Lawsuit.
How many
That
times?
sounds like
I was
a
going to say,
lawsuit.
this brother is about ready to get rich, first of all. And second of all, it proves that they're using the flock cameras in ways that they said they would never use the flock cameras.
I haven't heard that term before. The
flock cameras?
This thing came up.
We talked about the flock cameras on. You brought it up, right? Last week?
Yeah. Well, it was it was in the live.
It's a concept I think I'm aware of. I've just never heard him call
Oh, yeah. It was one of the TikTok people that brought it up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, not nice, but
when I first moved back to Nebraska from Colorado and I went to get my license flipped over, they took me over to the courthouse and ran fingerprints and made me sit in the courthouse with the sheriff and stuff because I was wanted in Arizona for armed robbery.
oh,
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, how many times do you have to, as a department, arrest the same dude before you have a
That's
meeting
true,
or like
that's true.
post a
Believe it or not.
bulletin and say, hey,
True. I don't know.
this dude is not...
I don't know. I
The
got,
same
Nothing
way.
wrong
He's
in
not-
his life.
The same officer pulled him over a second time, recognized him, and went, "Oh, I recognize you." And the guy was like, "I swear I don't have a warrant out for my arrest." And the officer was like, "I remember you. I need to call in my sergeant or whatever to figure out what I'm supposed to do." It was like, so even they even remember the dude.
So here's my question though, because you don't make an arrest based solely on like a flag coming back on it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to clear that. Once dispatch has that come back. Yep, he's 1029. Then they check with NCIC, which is the national database for wanted people, and if it hits, then they call the originating agency, whoever put it out, and confirm it. So the agency that originally put out the warrant has to confirm it before you make the arrest.
Is this nationwide or is this could Colorado
I believe that's
be
nationwide
different?
because
clearly
we always do it.
Well, clearly
with
there's
everybody.
a difference though because you guys aren't using flock cameras.
No, but I'm saying
So that's what I'm saying. So
no, but
Colorado
I'm just saying,
could be
you
different
don't make
because
an
they
arrest
are.
based on solely off of the flock camera having the hit.
I know what you're saying, Phil.
Okay,
but
then I
I'm
don't understand
saying
what you're saying.
that Colorado could be different based off of their system because they are using flock cameras. So they now could be operating on a different system.
I'd be
than how
very
you work
interested
with
to
it.
see the legislation that led to that because you're not just pulling that out of your
Brother,
butt.
it's Colorado, man.
Because you still have to call the originating agency to confirm.
I
So,
know that
unless
you're
it's
an
in-state
officer, and
already-
I'm not arguing with your experience, but I am saying that clearly they're doing something
I
different.
mean, I was
because
asking a question.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Clearly they're doing something different than you guys are doing. RAM memory companies their stocks are plummeting. You know why their stocks are plummeting?
Why is that?
Because Google announced that they have created a new algorithm with AI that makes it reduces the memory usage by a factor of 8 and improves the speed of RAM by a factor of 8. And so now RAM
So
that is
64 times less RAM
smaller
necessary?
becomes significantly faster.
Do you hear that? It's the Hallelujah chorus going in the background in the head of gamers everywhere.
So allegedly, RAM prices are projected to start decreasing, and a lot of the
I need to sell right
producers,
now.
a lot of the producers are beginning to sell it to companies that they wouldn't have normally sold it to because they now realize that their stuff is a little like the cheaper models are just as adequate. Interesting.
Right. Is that a part of the whole, like, I saw a headline, like, Google installed a 4 gigabyte AI thing on your phone, on your devices, and you didn't know about it. And then all of a sudden, both my phone and my laptop were out of storage, and I've been dealing with that. Is that a part of that?
I doubt it
Or it's just
because they
like-
would make it faster, so it shouldn't.
because you're on a conspiracy theory podcast.
Probably
But the AI thing would take up data, and then, I don't know.
no, because it would just be the
It would take
algorithm
up
of how it
memory.
already runs, so it would just run
Yeah,
faster.
the AI wouldn't take up memory; it would take up power.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be a different thing. Alabama made the news recently. This is great. I love this so much. This story is phenomenal. So Alabama now has higher test scores than New York and California. In completely unrelated news, California now leads the nation in babies born from parents who are cousins. Oh, how the turntables.
Nothing could have prepared me for that to be the statistic that you were going to say.
That burned
I feel like there's like a
so bad.
I feel like
all of
I've been
Alabama,
sitting on that one for a week.
all of Alabama saw that headline and went, "Suck it!" How you like them apples, Callie?
Oh my gosh.
sounds like our family got out of California just in time. we had a lot of family out there. They're not there anymore.
So
Man.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Wow.
The last thing I want to share. And
How's
I want to
that
give
the
Courtney a
last
chance.
one? How are you going to top that?
Dog Nebraska.
This better be good. This better be real good.
This one is this one's not funny. This one leads us into conspiracy theory.
Okay,
world,
okay. That okay. All right.
So there's some people that are hypothesizing that do you remember Obama's used car buyback program? Rolled out this huge thing for like Clash for Clunkers and nationwide everybody was doing it. This big deal that if you brought in your Cash for Clunker or whatever, that the government would match like whatever the purchase price was and try to encourage people.
Wasn't it like sold as like lowering emissions type of deal?
Trying to get emissions off the road with new emissions and stuff like that. They've gone through and they've actually figured it out now in hindsight. And effectively what that did was it removed millions of used cars from the used car market, artificially increased the new car price, and took completely like 70% of the vehicles that wouldn't need a computer to run off the roads. Mm-hmm. So now
70?
It was like 70%. It was a ridiculous. I don't have the statistic written down, but it was like a massive percentage of used cars that would have and could have been able to run without using a CPU off the market.
So that way AI can run the roads too now.
AI can run the roads and eventually basic your basic my brain is like UMP.
Yeah. No, EMP.
EMP. I was like, that's not the right thing. EMP.
Close.
A basic EMP blast could shut down your car.
Yeah.
Prior to that, effectively wouldn't have been able to do it.
I've seen that
supposedly. That's what this conspiracy theory was saying. But it was a big deal. I should have let Courtney lead because she had to go upstairs for a second. I'm not sure what happened.
Your thingy's not turning.
Nope, the engine, the motor for the turning broke.
Sedge.
Well, if Courtney gets back down here, I'll let her have.
You just got to stand over there and move it around, Phil. Just hold it and.
Oh wait, I have two more. I actually lied. Maybe we'll buy a little time so Courtney can get back down. But the next thing is, okay, I'm not saying that I agree with the guy who burned down the toilet paper factory, but I just want to point out to all of our listeners that he is effectively going to do more jail time for burning toilet paper than everybody named in the Jeffrey Einstein papers will do.
What a wonderful transition. We're going to react to that in a second, but did you see a headline that it has now been confirmed? Apparently, there's new evidence, very indisputable evidence that the corpse was not Einstein.
Oh, I have not.
I mean, we knew that because the corpse had a pancreas and he didn't. But
we had talked about a few different other things that, like his skin color and the way that his brain, the rigor mortis, didn't affect.
There was a lot of things, but we kind of knew this. But apparently, new evidence came out, and it's like, oh nope, that definitely.
If we have such good forensic scientists, why doesn't the letter organizations have better forensic scientists? Or they just not care?
That's a really good question, Mike.
They just not care.
Here, we should take you on a tour of our facilities and you can meet our medical examiners and forensic scientists. And then you can tell all the people about how
amazing.
Here, step into this mind control chair. I mean, I was about to say shower. You can't say that. Step into this.
Well, that made the intro.
This radiation chamber, or like decontamination chamber.
Step in the shower. Oh man. Oh goodness.
Well,
All right. Well, Courtney's not
That's
down
edited.
here, but I want to let the listener know if Courtney, if she comes back down, makes it back down, I'll let her even just interject mid-episode to share. But she did do a official book title reveal, and I'll let her reveal that.
Yep.
She also let people know that she's going to be looking for beta readers. So if you're someone who likes to read, be looking out for that application so that you can get your hands on a copy of. She's coming down?
Thought I heard.
Oh,
Steps.
hands on a copy ahead of time.
Yeah, I thought it was above us.
But I'm not going to do any other reveals other than that, just because I want Courtney to have
it's
that
her
opportunity
thing.
because
Yeah,
it's her
yeah,
thing.
I
But
gotcha.
if you haven't followed her on social media, all of her socials, she produces, especially if you like books, like reading books, like book conversations, everything on her social media is about her author journey, basically. And so it's Courtney Sherlock author is her social media is for her books. Yeah. Follow her.
Mike, you grinned.
Do
Was
it
that
now.
more audible
You got
than
me
I
like you got me over here giggling, man. He's just doing all kinds of weird stuff over there. He's got me all giggling. I don't know. I'm not a giggler
burp.
either, man. He's got me cracking up over here.
I was trying not to burp into the mic.
He's over there doing disco lights and doing the. Oh man.
And the last thing I was gonna talk about, Phil, you cracked me up.
That's why.
But yeah, hey,
perfect.
Hey.
I just gave a
about the book
tiny little bit of thing about that you did your title reveal. So go ahead, have at it.
Sorry, I'm
Let's
still
share.
focusing on what I just did, which I'm not going to talk about.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it after the
All right,
show.
well, yep.
Talking about my title reveal.
Yeah.
Like,
I
what
didn't
about
share
it?
anything. I just
we
said
haven't
that
shared anything. He just was
Yep.
saying, "Hey,
I wanted you the opportunity to
I don't even
share.
have my breath yet, guys.
Take a drink.
Of pop. That
Cheers.
should help me catch my breath.
Gulp.
I already finished.
Phil with his silly voices.
No,
It was beautiful. It was a good job.
I decided to go ahead and release it now. I'm going to start beta reader applications soon. So I was like, hey, I'm just going to... We'll see, Phil.
You continue.
Fill out the application. Okay.
The hand is related.
I already told him that.
That's okay. But no, so I wanted to do the title reveal and give like a short synopsis, which is basically the back of the cover, teaser, blurb, whatever you want to call it, just to kind of give a little bit of, an enticing news and see who might be a good fit to do beta readers. So this is a trilogy that I have been developing since I first got the idea for it back in 2014 when I was listening to a Thousand Foot Crutch album. I finally started putting words on paper a few years later, and I wrote the first draft of the first book, in which, if you know anything about National Novel Writing Month or NaNoWriMo, they are pretty discredited and it's something else. But back when it was, was still going, I did National Novel Writing Month in the month of November 2019. So I wrote this novel about apocalyptic stuff and subversive organization overtaking the government and the Insurrection Act and like all sorts of crazy stuff and spiritual warfare. And then, then 2020 happened. And so I've been wanting to get it out ever since. Life has happened. A couple kids happened. It is a trilogy. So the first book is called The Aftermath, and it is the Aftermath trilogy. I'm very excited. I think I'll be categorizing it as new adult, but in terms of relationships, the protagonists are like 19 through 21 age, but it's safe for younger readers, probably as young as like 16 years old and anyone up. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. More news on that soon. We'll be getting beta readers going. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
So if you like to read, or you're in that category, or you have someone you like, if you're a parent of somebody in that category, obviously apply to maybe beta read.
Yeah.
Or encourage people that you know.
I know it's
apply to
geared
beta
towards
read.
young adults, but I feel pretty spry yet. Feel like I could enjoy. I enjoyed the read that I got to do of the your golden hour bit.
Yeah, my short story. Yes.
A while back.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it, so
Thank you.
I would like to read the books.
Yeah.
Too bad, Phil.
Props to you, by the way,
you
for
will
bad.
eventually. Yeah.
props to you, by the way, for having the
gonna have to
discipline
buy
to
it.
continue to write.
It's
$20.
Happily
Autographs
buy
going to
it
cost you
now.
extra $5.
Give me $20 and I'll make sure you become a beta reader.
I got you.
okay, but some people do that, and yeah, no, it's just, yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't going to give it to you.
It's not a formal
You were
legal
supposed to hear
transaction.
It might not be a final copy, but it's a book.
Oh goodness.
Oh man.
But no, I was gonna say, just props to you for I know that I lack discipline to follow through on a lot of things that I pick up and try out, but
Yeah.
when you were talking about it a few months ago, I was like, I kind of want to do a little writing now.
Yes,
and
I meant to
started
ask you how that was going.
Not
okay.
at all. I started and I did pretty good for like a couple weeks, and I just kind of like got hung up on where I wanted to take it next, and then I was just like, it fizzled out pretty hard. So like,
That's okay.
no, just props to you on the discipline.
Oh,
like
thank you.
takes more effort and mental focus than people think.
It's a
Right, 100%,
it's a lifelong study, because like I'm not just like, woohoo, I've made it, I can learn no more. Obviously not. So this is actually the third book that I've ever written. The first two are not going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
I've
I
gotten
like the first
plenty of
two.
advice. I know, but there's a lot of problems with them. They're going to be good family reads. They're probably never going to hit the public.
Fine.
Unless God inspires me to like completely revamp them so that they're
that might
actually
not,
workable.
That might not
but
be a bad thing.
Phil, $20, you can read one of those first books.
actually double that.
I can't believe an unpublished book is going to be out of my price range. I'm getting scammed.
That's not even the special edition.
No autographs. Oh, man.
It's good stuff.
All right. So the last thing I was going to talk about was just because it's kind of because it's about a boat. Was the
I'm on a boat.
Yeah, lovely.
But the Disney cruise ship that
Oh my gosh.
all the PDFs, they got arrested for trafficking underaged.
And I had just had the conversation with you, babe, of like, I never want to go on a cruise. I remember the
Yeah, we
carnival
talked about
stuff,
that in the Patreon.
and then the hantavirus stuff, and then now this, and I'm like, I never want to go on a cruise. Sorry, Mike, you're going on a cruise here soon.
we already made plans.
Patreon, we got 10 minutes worth of Patreon.
If you want to be in, if you want to be in on the plans,
Well, that
we got plans for this cruise.
These are going to be these are good. All our Patreon supporters are going to know.
Yeah.
They're going to know.
Because I'm going on a cruise next month.
The people who are not in the Patreon are going to be
got
real
plans.
confused by Mike's content. But
Goodness.
No,
but
that's
no, that's absolutely terrible. And sounds like
why
they just
did they decide to bring people from that to Omaha?
they did with the other one too. We talked enough about this. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I was trying to bring it back to the carnival.
I know,
Or
yeah,
not
yeah.
carnival, but to the Disney cruise
Yeah,
thing.
yep. So yeah, back
The fact
to
that gets hushed up.
I do agree though, Phil. I know it's like let's put it in the center of the country.
Like, I know UNMC is good, but it's not that good.
Apparently it is that
Apparently,
good.
it's one of
I don't
the
believe
best in the
it's-
country.
It is actually apparently
It's
that
listed
good.
as one of the best in the
Really?
country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. it.
Yeah.
I mean,
UNMC does.
also-
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, they brag
have
it
you
up.
been there?
yeah, I have actually. But
It's,
like,
it's kind of the central
I guess
hub
I
for
don't
the
have a
medical
frame
world,
of
yeah.
reference because like that's the only large medical center that I've really ever spent any time in, and it wasn't a lot of time. So like I don't know,
It's
but
pretty
like,
legit. It's
really
but when I hear
pretty
like
legit.
people talk about like noteworthy medical facilities like countrywide, I don't hear that brought up.
They're one of the ones that gets brought up. Them, and then you got the one in Minnesota. That one,
Mayo.
Mayo gets
Obviously.
brought up for cancer research.
Yes.
And cancer stuff, and then
I
different
just never
different ones
noticed.
for different
Now I'll-
hospitals.
now
And
I'll
I'd say
have
like
different
like
strengths.
UNMC is
Yeah.
like forefront of like medical research type stuff too. Like they're up
legit.
there when it comes to the
They're
research
legit,
stuff too.
yeah.
So I could see that.
Yep.
But anyway, back to the Disney cruise. So, but like, how many more times do we have to like confirm?
Gosh, I know it's.
How many more confirmations are going to be there before
Confirm
people?
which thing?
And how many more things are going to
The
happen before
Disney
and like
cruise.
and we
Disney
just sit
or
and
the
nothing
cruise or
happens?
Disney cruises or like
Yes, correct, Phil. All of the above.
okay, yeah.
All the things.
All the things. Gosh, at some point, this is no longer a conspiracy theory podcast, and we just talk about the news.
Yeah,
I know.
But we predict the news.
that's right.
We know the news before the news is going to be the news.
That's right.
We're the cool news.
That's right. The canoes.
We're news
Sounds
before it's
like
news.
It sounds like a freaking sounds like a channel on a like early 2000s comedy movie like Dodgeball or something
God.
like that. It's like the Ocho. It's like the Ocho but the news.
Welcome to Biblically Accurate Bigfoot, where the news before it's news. The cool news. Canoes.
Canoes. Speaking of canoes. Speaking of canoes.
Speaking of canoes, there was a boat in Philadelphia.
Or was it?
Well,
It was.
It was.
And then it wasn't.
It
And
was
then
for
it was.
sure. At some point, it was.
It was. It wasn't. Then it was.
Maybe. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Everything we
the
do
Navy
is for
says
fun.
it was never there.
All right, we introduced the Philadelphia experiment. We introduced the Philadelphia experiment a while ago.
Yeah.
Really?
It came up in.
I don't remember any of it.
We
So
we
we didn't talk
briefly
about
brought
It
it up.
just keeps coming up as
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that thing, and then we move on from
Yeah,
it.
it briefly got brought up, and I cannot
so
remember.
I probably just pretended I knew what you guys were talking. Oh yeah, that, and then we just moved on.
I can't remember exactly when it got brought up, but I know we
Montauk
brought it
talked
up.
about it.
Montauk, it got brought up, but even before that, I remember we talked about it briefly. So we talked about it at Montauk, and then we talked about it during the Dulce episodes that we just finished up.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? This thing keeps coming up. We need to do an episode on it. And I will be honest. So part of the Dulce connection, because that was probably the most significant, other than Montauk. Montauk was a pretty significant connection, but the Dulce episode. If you guys didn't listen to those, you're fine, and I'll catch you up just for now. Phil Schneider from the episode 2, is that 2 or 3?
No, it was 3. 3.
Episode 3 of part 3 of the Dulce episodes. He claimed to find documentation of his dad's that placed his dad as one of the military men present at the Philadelphia experiment. And he brought documentation, and there was allegedly a letter from the president talking about how the men from the Philadelphia experiment had been escaping from insane asylums.
Right.
And we just kind of glossed into that and moved on. And if you didn't have any context for what the Philadelphia experiment was, that was probably a kind of confusing segment. But but if you're a listener of the show, you kind of had enough of an idea. So we just decided, let's go into the Philadelphia experiment. So
And
sound good?
I am usual. I, as usual, am going in blind to this. So
We like it that way.
I didn't look up.
That way we can tell you literally
Y'all.
anything.
There was a
and
boat.
you think it's the truth.
There was magic, science magic.
Yeah.
Then there wasn't a boat. Then there was a boat because of the science magic. That's
And-
the 5-second synopsis.
if you don't smoke crack, I'll give you the bigger breakdown.
I will be the interpreter for our ADHD people and or crackheads. In the
Same
audience.
difference. No. Okay.
Ouch.
I love you. I am you. Okay.
Oh, we're a little unhinged today.
Okay, so all of this occurred in October of 1943, allegedly. The general idea of the subject, this is basically the gist of what happened, to give you the longer version of what Phil just said.
Slightly longer.
Was that the U.S. Navy conducted a secret experiment at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, and the destroyer escort, the USS Eldridge, was attempting to make the ship invisible to enemy radar, but according to the story, it went beyond radar, and the ship allegedly became optically invisible and moved. And so it vanished from Philadelphia and appeared in Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk. They pronounce it that way.
Oh, yeah, they pronounce it like a normal human being, unlike Norfolk, Nebraska.
Well,
We just spell it wrong.
in the UK they
Norfolk.
say Norfolk.
Norfolk. That sounds like
I
a
know.
You
yogurt.
should not say that.
And banned.
So they
Age restricted.
So it went to Norfolk and then returned with some horrifying consequences. These horrifying consequences kind of go back to, as we talked about with the Phil Schneider's letters that
Yes.
were apparently from the president.
And which president was that? Was that
43 would have been.
was that
Was that Truman? No, it was.
Hoover?
I think it was
I thought I
Hoover.
remember you mentioning Hoover, because then I'm like,
It was before.
dude,
It was whoever's
I
before
feel like
Truman.
Hoover did so much sketchy stuff.
Because Truman dropped the boom boom. But he.
Roosevelt
I was gonna say, yeah.
was in 93.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember who the letter was from,
Yeah,
because
you
it
said
could have
93.
occurred. It could have occurred after that they escaped from the asylums,
Okay.
and so it could.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the date could be different. But anyway,
Asylums and Salem's. We didn't do
the
that.
mental hospitals.
Yeah.
Good
So
plug, good
part
plug.
of the reason why they needed to escape was because apparently this event had a lot of horrific consequences on them, and some of them, when they reappeared back.
Can you talk?
I can never talk. As they reappeared,
I'm struggling too.
it's like I'm trying to think of my next point as I'm talking,
Yes.
and I need to stop doing that.
Yeah.
So as they reappeared back, some of them appeared like in the ship, like as one with the metal, so to say.
Fused.
Yeah, fused. It just was. It's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, but that's kind of the short gist of what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So before we talk about that, let's just start from the beginning. And this is going to be kind of because it is a dulce side quest. I kind of want to share as
Hold on.
Phil has
Phil's
gurgling noises,
Channeling a chupacabra over there.
I'm sorry.
cattle mutilations going on over here.
I'm levitating my
Oh,
pumpkin.
that's cool. I love that.
Like,
Okay.
we're so cute.
So this is going to be like a dulce style. We're going to start from the beginning, okay?
Okay.
So, all of these details are like
Classified.
everything. No, so everything. This is not one that's classified. This is one that is.
I'm kidding.
No, that's
Non-existent,
actually yeah.
really.
This is one of those that's allegedly like non-existent.
Not verifiable.
Right.
But there's so many details that are verifiable that it's
Right.
hard.
Yeah.
There's lines that I'm like, where's the line?
Yeah.
The whole time I'm researching this thing, I'm like, where's the line? What did exist? What didn't exist? What actually happened?
So what you mean to say it has not been declassified? It is still either classified or just
It's
completely
declassified, but it's questionable, the
Yeah.
declassification.
Right.
Like as it was
Yes.
rewritten.
It's a very
redone.
shady declassification.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll start at the beginning. And Mike, I know you did research, but feel free to interject at any point in time. But as I said, we're going to try to go through.
Feel free.
As soon,
Feel free.
But I'd like to kind of do it like a Dulce style. Kind of go through the motions.
I need like a yellow flag, like a referee, like just throw the flag.
Just raise your hand.
Just put your arm on my elbow. Just be like, hey.
Like that and throw the flag.
I'd like to share.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Hold on.
You don't get to do that.
No. I was going to give Screw you, first of all. I was going to give Mike the remote so that
you could change the color to red.
Change the color.
Is that the indication?
No, let's try it. See if it goes.
Stop. Wait. Okay.
It's like the
Gotta
little.
go red.
I can't tell what's
It's
red
like
on
the
here.
little
Red.
octopus stuffy. That's how he. That
It's still
lets
blue.
us know that he's angry. He
It's still
changes
blue.
it to red.
Letting the listeners at home know.
Is your battery
it's this one.
It's this.
It's this thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's
The remote
light.
for the other lights.
It's this.
Too
There
many.
you go. That's orange.
You got to point it
You
out.
almost got red. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Change the color. You can make a strobe effect. You can just strobe it.
No.
That'll get my attention. Anyway.
Sure.
So random.
Did you
We'll
hear
see.
me?
All right.
Did you hear me? It's like the little octopus stuffy where you could turn it inside out. Like, this is how Mike's going to let us know that he's angry. Like,
Yep.
this is how I'm feeling right now.
No, that is connected to
The
Bluetooth
bell
my
on
phone,
Breaking
but-
Bad. You familiar with that?
Oh yeah.
He's sitting over there with his face all screwed up.
Where'd the clickers go? Those are somewhere around here. Do the dog clicker.
I think
They
that's
disappeared.
upstairs in the toy basket.
And that doesn't that tracks.
It's probably
Sorry about it. Here, you can have a pen. You can violently click it.
Do not. Do not.
Okay. All right. So this whole story starts with.
Stepping on my foot.
Oh, my bad.
My foot is as far back as I can go, and you're still stepping on my foot.
So, Courtney, speaking of authors, this whole thing starts with a man named Morris Jessup.
The names, dog.
He
This guy,
he sounds
Ketchup
like a Pokemon
Jessup.
trainer.
Morris Ketchum Jessup.
He sounds like a Pokemon trainer.
I thought he
does.
sounded like a Wild West
Ketchum-
cowboy,
Ketchum
like
Jessup.
Wild West
Ketchum
That's
Jessup.
My
true.
name's Morris.
Ketchum is
Morris Ketchum Jessup.
You know Morris
Ketchum.
Ketchum Jessup.
No,
God,
when I
Morris.
Ketchum Jessup.
You know Ketchum.
Just spit. I'm so passionate about it.
Oh my God, I heard
love
just full-blown accents. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Xander's really annoyed right now.
Someone's gonna hate that.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway,
Conversations I want.
what a cool name though, Morris Ketchum Jessup. That is
Morris.
a cool name, dude.
I know.
I love
Anytime somebody writes a
sounds
book,
like a
a
bounty
government
hunter.
book, and it's got a real name, I'm
does.
like, is he real?
He
He's like-
sounds like a bounty hunter
he's
off of
An
Star
Old
Wars.
West
yeah, he
Pokemon bounty hunter.
Yes.
I was thinking Star Wars, but close.
Yes.
Old West.
I never watched
Tatooine,
Pokemon, so I have no
Tatooine,
reference to that. I never.
Tatooine,
I have no
Pokemon
reference.
bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Morris and Jessup. Jessup's an Old West name though.
So is Ketchum.
So
Yeah.
Morris Ketchum Jessup.
That's three
a cool
names
name.
that nobody else has.
Yeah. That dude's like, he's got to be the one.
That is a
he's
mythical
the
name.
There's
soul.
no confusing this guy with anybody
Okay.
else.
So he was born in 1900, and this guy was an astronomer, a writer, a researcher. Wow. Like, he had a legitimate academic profile.
Yeah.
He went to school and got his degree in astronomy from Michigan. And then he continued his education and was working on becoming, getting his master's degree and his doctorate. And like, he was working on that. And then he stopped and decided I've learned what I need to learn, and began going out and doing stuff. And so this dude begins traveling the world, and this is why his story, Mike, is so interesting to me, because he became interested in archaeology. So he starts traveling. He goes to Peru. He goes to South America. He goes to Mexico, and he's doing archaeological digs, and he's on these dig sites. And while he's doing these digs, he becomes, and this is true. This is true part of the story.
Right.
He starts doing digs, becomes very curious. So he's already studying astronomy. Now he's working on archaeology. And then all of a sudden he, because of his digs, becomes extremely curious about space aliens, UFOs, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a very
Bro.
ancient aliens before ancient
Yeah.
aliens. Was
This
even
dude
a thing.
Yes.
is the father
was like the
of
first-
our topic.
He was the first
Yes.
ancient aliens guy. Yeah, he pretty much invented that fringe.
Yeah, he came up with
Theory.
our whole premise.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So this guy, he does most of his work in like research environments. So he's the kind of guy that wants to actually research what he's looking up, what he's doing. So then he also then began studying like photographic roles and photography and what goes into photography and how do you study photography, that kind of thing. And he's really like, I mean, this dude's like the spectrum of what he's learning and what he became interested in is just like guiding him to this topic. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Just curious. So then he begins writing. This guy was married, had a family. Apparently his marriage was super awesome. And he was described as being an extremely intellectual guy. And the people who knew him referred to him as a doctor, as Dr. Jessup, even though he didn't complete a doctoral program.
Right.
And he never claimed to complete a doctoral program. But the people around him just considered him so smart.
Just
They
kind of
called him
Honorary kind of thing.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Called him
Dr.
Doc.
Morris,
Basically,
Dr. Jessup.
Doc
you're
Morris.
basically doctor.
Dr. Morris Ketchum
Morris
Jessup.
Ketchum Jessup.
Yeah, I didn't the doctor on there in it.
Morris Ketchum.
Dr. Morris Ketchum Jessup.
Doc Jessup to my friends.
MK Jessup.
Okay.
Anyway,
No,
that is intriguing.
thank you. I
So
wanted.
now keep in mind that was interesting.
Thank you.
During this time where he's doing all this research and learning stuff, you have to keep in mind the era in which he's learning, because
Yeah.
he's born in 1900s.
Yeah.
That during his lifetime, he saw Einstein revolutionizing physics. He saw the objective relativity becoming famous. Quantum stuff was starting to first really gain traction.
Quantum stuff.
World War II, all of the
Yes.
secret weapons.
He was
World War
around
II
for the
existed.
first airplanes.
Yeah, World
Saw
War
the
One, World
first
War II.
airplanes, 2 World Wars.
So you've got the Nazis who had secret weapons. Radar is invented. All these rockets are being invented. They split the atom during his lifetime.
Goodness.
The A-bomb spicy ballistics go off and are used in that way. The era he lived in, everything was possible. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that era, like I think about the advancements we've made in our lifetime with, and really like if in my mind, the advancements we've made, really the AI has been the pinnacle so far. Okay. So AI has really been the pinnacle of the advancements. I feel like the era that he was in, I feel like probably would have felt the same way we feel about AI. It's like, holy cow.
Knowledge is so
This is-
accessible
yes.
and there's so much happening.
Exactly.
It's my.
Ah.
Just talk. I paused already.
He doesn't want to talk. He wants to party.
Okay, I have a question.
it was
While
a
he's
test.
figuring out what he
Wait,
wants to.
Just to explain what just happened, they started strobing the lights to get my attention, and then I stopped talking.
Who's they?
And then they didn't talk.
I was doing it for Phil. He
Oh,
had his hand
okay,
raised
Phil.
over there.
I have a
was helping him
question.
out.
What's up?
What year did he pass away?
We're not going to talk
Okay,
about that
fine.
yet, Phil.
Fine.
So I told you weren't allowed to ask
Make a
questions.
guess.
Okay,
Make a
here's
guess.
the reason. I
Make a
was
guess.
gonna.
You're on timeout,
guess.
sir.
Okay.
Time out.
Okay,
Change it back.
We'll say he made it.
His time is done.
Shut up. We'll say he made it to 60. Okay, dude, literally saw the first airplane that flew, and he saw the friggin' SR-71 Blackbird. Dude got to witness both. You want to talk about advancements?
You got him over there beatboxing over this thing, man.
Oh my gosh! No,
We'll
that's
get there,
exactly
Phil.
it, yeah.
Settle down.
Turn the light back.
Settle down.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like
means caution.
the
It hurts.
this dude's
born
lifetime
in
is
1900.
in
like,
1900
on the dot.
Yep.
Thank you.
And so
Exactly.
and so he's in adulthood during all this stuff, and like his prime is spent during all these advancements. Like, what a cool
crazy.
thing. And he is, and again, an extremely intelligent person.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
he's not just an average day guy that's like, oh yeah, these guys over there are doing cool things. He's like,
Yeah.
No, he's
this
kinda
is
part of it.
like, yeah, he's
Or
smart.
like at least
Right.
appear.
Yeah, it can
Right.
somewhat like
And as his story
Rats.
develops, and where we're going with it, I'm sure is there's no doubt that he was as smart as everybody said he was.
Yeah.
I mean, when his books came out.
exactly. And so then kind of fast forward through his life through 1947. And oh, no, this is still in 1947. You have the Kenneth Arnold sighting, you have Roswell, you have the mass flying saucers being reported. So this is all still within that lifetime. So is it unrealistic? Like, if you imagine living then, and they just split the atom, and the A spicy ballistic goes off in Japan, and then all of a sudden they're massing UFOs, and it's like, man, that's not unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
there was just I feel like in our modern age, we kind of see that way with like anything is possible with AI, but back then it was like anything is possible. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There was just that just, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Now in hindsight, we also know things like Operation Paperclip were occurring.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of research being done by the German country leaders at the time with
You
a
already
lot of
said
different things, with hidden technology, with...
I mean, World War II in and of itself was just a bummer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like...
Right. But then we have, like I said, we have Operation Paperclip, and we know now in hindsight, there are scientists and how they influenced American propaganda,
Yeah.
so to say,
Yeah.
and how they used UFOs as propaganda. And then, so now he's seeing this and doesn't know about Operation Paperclip,
Right.
Because they didn't release that for a long time. And all of a sudden, UFOs become a big thing after World War II and Operation Paperclip. And so now it's like you've got this clash of anything's possible, propaganda, the world, our government now holding a lot of secrets that they didn't necessarily used to do, or at least they claim they didn't do, but 1880 existed, and so well,
Yeah.
we know
As
they
we've
did.
dis- as we've
Episodes
discovered.
still
1884.
Yeah, as
Goodness.
we've discovered.
So continuing forward in time, we get to 1955. And in 1955, Morris Jessup publishes his book called The Case for UFO Unidentified Flying Objects. Wow. So this guy is all in on the UFO stuff.
Yeah.
This book basically has themes of anti-gravity propulsion theories, magnetism, Einstein's unified field concepts, and again speculation that UFOs and their propulsion was using advanced electromagnetic principles. He theorized all of this in his book.
As a non-government scientist,
And what year did that
published the book.
1955.
5.
bro?
So this dude's a smart guy. I mean, now we have electromagnetics as a form of transportation. We've got jet trains.
Yeah, he was only like 50
Yeah.
years ahead of the curve
Right.
on that for what we know. That's nuts.
And this is where the story really begins.
Ow.
Sorry.
Yep.
I'm like twisty-turny.
And this is where it begins, kicking the shin. That was cute. That was on cue. He needed a reaction.
I
so-
know.
Yeah.
So he kicked you.
So
timely.
So he publishes his book in.
Ow. She goes, ow.
He publishes his book in 1955, and then in 1956, he receives a letter.
Oh, no.
This letter is sent to Jessup from a Carlos Miguel Allende. And in this letter,
Allende.
I did say Allende, on accident.
You're okay.
Allende.
I still love you.
I know what his real name is, and so I was like reading into it.
Right. You know what, though?
Anyway.
It helps with the story,
Allende.
too, and because it's a very, very Spanish name.
It is.
And that helps. with
Carlos
what we're-
Miguel
the story.
Allende.
It's about as Spanish as it gets, ain't it?
And that name, so Carlos Miguel Allende sounds
It's
like
a Spanish version of
Morris Jessup.
I was actually going to say, I was just jealous.
We got some mythical names
Maybe
going
have a
on.
name
Anyway,
competition.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, Mr. Allende.
So, in this letter, it basically tells Jessup that he should stop pursuing the lines of inquiry that he's made into magnetic propulsion and the unified field effects because the government has already tested them. And he said that Einstein's unified field theory had practical military applications that the Navy had already used. And so the problem wasn't that he didn't supply, so like he's basically telling him like, hey, all of these theories that you've created in your book, like stop pursuing them. It's already been done. The government's done it.
And if you don't, it could be trouble.
It
Cease
could
and
be a
desist
big deal.
or
And your name's
yourself.
not that cool. Mine's better.
Yeah.
The problem with this is he didn't give any evidence.
Right?
So Jessup is reading this going like,
He's a smart guy.
dudes, okay. I mean, there's
Didn't
some
he
things
claim
to
that?
it.
Did the letter claim that Allende in his letter did he claim that he like initiated the experiments with the electromagnetic, or did that come later?
Not that he, and we'll talk
I know
about
his name is related to that
Yeah.
somewhere.
So we'll
that name
talk-
is related to the inventions that he discusses.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but he claims to have seen it.
Right,
in
yeah,
the letters
yeah,
for sure. I know
yeah,
that much.
yeah.
I didn't go. The letters are like you. I believe you can go find the letters. I did not read the letters.
Yeah.
there was enough content. I was like, I don't
They're
have time. to read
very
this.
unhinged, and because I didn't see the letters, but I did watch a documentary where they did like summarize the letters, and
about
they were
them,
saying
yeah.
that they were very, very unhinged, very almost like strange
Schizo?
and
Is that a kind of
schizo-ish.
schizo?
Yeah, they were very like this guy's crazy kind of
Yeah.
talk, but
Okay, so Allende, he says that he witnessed the experiment in 1943. He claims that he was on board the USS Andrew Forsyth, which was a merchant ship at the time. Okay, so he claimed that his ship was near enough to observe the event, and he claimed that it occurred at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. So now we have the Philadelphia experiment. We have the basis of it. He claimed that a destroyer escort, which was later identified, underwent testing involving the electromagnetic fields. He claimed the ship was surrounded by a strange green haze, that the vessel became invisible and then vanished entirely. He then said that the ship disappeared from Philadelphia, reappeared in Norfolk, Virginia, then returned a distance of 200 miles in minutes. That's what he claimed in this letter.
Okay.
Then the letter continues to get more rough. He alleges that the sailors on the ship experienced insanity, severe disorientation, physical instability, spontaneous visibility and invisibility. So these people, after effects, they would just disappear sometimes.
Oh my gosh, they had superpowers.
That they would freeze and just like, it's almost like their consciousness was no longer in their body and their body was just frozen.
Oh no.
And they wouldn't be able to move, and then they'd be able to move again. So spontaneous freezing. And bizarre psychological breakdowns. This would later be expanded into saying that some men were fused in with the ships at a later point in time and became embedded with the ships.
Later?
Part of the crew, part of
And
the
a
ship.
different, no. Occurred at the time, he later claimed. at a
Okay,
different point
I was
in time.
going to say, well, I didn't get that part.
okay, wait.
So-
Point of reference. Who do you have? Who like? Do you
Glad
did
you
you
caught
come
that.
across Carl Meredith
My
Allen?
first thought.
That's Allende.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
So I was going to say, like, okay,
Mike, I debriefed you.
but so
I debriefed
listen,
you and told you we would talk about
listen,
him in a minute.
My notes say that Allende came later, so our notes are different.
Okay. Well, then
my
you
notes
will
say
interject that
that
at another point in time.
No, I think
Yes.
he said that this that came after he published the book, right?
Yeah.
Which was later, anyway. Allende.
Okay, wait. We haven't talked about Carl Meredith Allen.
Yeah, we haven't talked about
No.
Carl.
I thought you were talking about Allende still.
Well,
We will get to it.
well,
Mike is just confusing people.
We're
Dang
following
it, Mike.
Morris. We're following
Well,
Morris's story
yes.
right now.
Yes.
So we will continue with Jessup, Michael. Okay.
Chaos agent.
So
that a different
Jessup goes back to him and basically he responds and says, "Hey, this is cool and all, but I need more from you. Like, prove it." Letter 2 came on May 25th of the same year. And it claims that his memory was impaired and that he had a head injury. He couldn't verify, but he suggested that he would undergo hypnotherapy
Of course.
to release
course.
some of these things in order to unlock memories. He said that somewhere there was proof in a newspaper, but he couldn't provide the newspaper claims. And he added that, like, there were some electromagnetic manipulations going on, and everything was really still very vague, and he claimed that the government was trying to cover it up.
I would like to set up a
In letter number
dartboard
2.
and put 3 names on it as to who he's going to go to for hypnotherapy. And I'm just
know,
going
right?
to throw it. That's my guess.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, so at this point in time,
Adding a new one?
this is where the speculation died. Then, all of a sudden, around the same time, a book shows up at the Office of Naval Research. They give it to the ONR, and in this book, it shows up, and it is Jessup's book. Somebody, maybe many buddies, had taken the book and written between the lines and in the margins, basically lining out things and correcting some things.
Half-Blood Prince.
And
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
basically had this written conversation between 3 different people representing a Mr. A, a Mr. B, and a Jemmy, Jemy. What? And the colors of these 3 people's writings were different, and the handwriting was different. Each person had their own different handwriting and own different color. And it was almost like they were communicating. It's like one of them took it, did the things in the book, and then handed it to another person. They went then and then responded to and made more corrections. And third person responded and made more corrections.
I'm going to correct a stupid error on somebody's part. It's Jerry, and he has bad handwriting. Because that's how you would mistake.
Or maybe it's Jenny and they put the ends together.
Oh, there's a thought.
Maybe.
Well, it looks like it says Jemy. But yeah, those actually are solid points that their handwriting could have been
handwriting.
Jenny or Jerry.
No one in the history of ever has been named Jemmy, Jemy. That's not a name. I don't care. I know we got some wild names going on in this one.
You know
No.
what?
Okay,
That
I do
makes-
know. I
that
do
makes
know a
sense.
Jemmy.
That makes
No,
sense.
you don't.
I totally do.
No, you don't.
There is one in
You're a
There is
liar.
one in Alliance.
You're a liar.
Okay,
Yes, Jimmy as a name.
I'm just saying.
ChatGPT'd
I know
it.
one.
Apparently, it is a name. But maybe the start of every good name is a misspelled other name.
Sure, Tamer Sherbeck.
Yep, Tamer Sherbeck.
Legit got mail for Tamer Sherbeck.
Okay.
That's
That's
amazing.
our Chenandler Bong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, to get muscle and fitness,
Yeah.
if you'd get a fat discount if you use one of the cards from inside of another magazine,
Okay.
and so you'd get like a 90% discount, and
Right,
but you had to fill it out using the card, and so I filled it out, and then it
In your
came
terrible
back,
handwriting.
Yeah, my awesome handwriting.
So
it came
every
back
time we
Tamer
got
Sherbeck.
spam for Tamer Sherbeck, we knew exactly
We knew it came
who
from
had sold
muscle
his
and fitness.
information.
Yep.
So yeah,
Happened for a long while.
Yeah.
That's a great way to weed out
I know. Yep.
people that.
I do that when I sign up for stuff that's like, we will never buy or sell or whatever. I will write like my name and then in parentheses where the source is, and then my last name, so that whenever they send spam, it'd be like, so it'd say like Tanner, Insane Labs, Sherlock. You know what I mean? So like,
And that will
whenever I
never
sign
come
up-
back.
Yeah.
Yep.
But and then exactly, I get on them, but anyway,
Pro
Insane
tip.
Labs does not sell your stuff.
No, that's actually a very good.
No, they don't.
but pro
tip.
tip.
Yeah, yeah.
They're pretty smart sometimes.
Yeah.
Sorry, not just off track.
So, okay.
All right.
So within these writings, we now know after the fact, but at the time, the public didn't know this, obviously. And neither did Jessup. But in the annotations, they're basically explaining that there's different races of aliens, or not aliens. They didn't know the word alien. They said different races of beings is what it basically said.
Wow.
A lot of things, and basically like critiquing and saying like, hey, you're close here, you almost had this.
Yeah.
And then in 1957, Jessup is actually called into the Office of Naval Research, shown the annotated book, and he recognizes the handwriting of one of them as being from the person who wrote the letters.
Oh.
Mr. A.
Smart guy, though.
Mr. A, he recognizes that the handwriting and the style of writing as being from the writer of the letters that he got, Allende. And so...
He did it again.
What? Allende.
Yeah.
Whatever. So Allende is linked to the annotations in this book now. So Captain Sidney Sherby, and Commander George Washington Hoover.
Sherby.
These guys' names,
you.
dude. It makes me...
It's Tamer Sherbeck. You're Captain Sherby.
Captain Sherby.
Sidney Sherby.
Captain Sherby.
There was... Okay, this is so random, but there was a thread on a Blurry Creatures Facebook at one point, and somebody posted something, and his name... I literally responded. I was like, why is your name mocking mine? And his name was like Tenor and then Sherlick. And it was like... I was like... It looks like somebody's making fun of my name. Who are you? But he didn't think it was funny. But everybody else did. But anyway, that was totally random.
That was very random.
Where was I at? Oh yeah.
Man.
Sherby.
Sherby.
So Captain Sidney Sherby and Commander George Washington Hoover became interested, apparently, and called in Jessup. And so now we have the ONR involved in this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So... That's weird, right?
Yeah.
Why does the ONR care? Why are they doing anything?
Why did they call Jessup in?
And so this is, again, we're just following Jessup's timeline. Then in 1957, Varo Manufacturing, which was a defense contractor, reproduces the annotated book and runs 127 copies of his book, known as the Varo Edition. And so now the Navy is actually having somebody, like they're having them produce more copies of this book.
But not publicly. They were for naval research.
Just
Yeah.
Did he at least get paid
127 copies. I doubt it.
I do too. I'd be mad.
We in hindsight, we know about this. At the time, nobody knew.
Yeah, I guess
only the people who would have gotten the copies got it. So allegedly, this version
they were pirating.
Well, this version of the book included
pirating.
This version of the book included all of the annotations, and it contained all of the advanced physics, all of the hidden knowledge, all of the stuff that was allegedly credible.
Right.
And so they straight up like took everything that was in the notes and was like, hey, we need to get this out to people and produce 127 copies of it.
Well, and the funny thing is,
wild.
like, publicly when they went to meet with him, they were just like, hey, we're curious about this thing, and we really don't care. Like, this is silly. This book is so silly. It's so crazy. And then they steal it and make copies and stuff. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So these,
because they talked him into letting him have. They talked him into, discussing the book and stuff with them and explaining things in the book while they were there. But they totally played it off like it was.
It's bigger than that because so he writes the book.
Yeah.
Some random dude,
some randos
tells him like, "Hey, knock it off."
Yeah.
And then he writes in the book along with two other people. Government gets a hold of it, invites the author to clear some things up, and then freaking republishes it with the random dude and the other dudes.
Yeah, with all
like
the
writings
notes
in
and
there.
everything, yeah.
And sends it
But we
to
don't
other
care about
people,
it.
but we don't
No,
care about it.
that's cool.
But
It's not a
yeah,
big deal.
there's
It's just a silly
there's
book.
nothing. We look into every claim.
Yeah.
That we that's what they would later
That's
say.
what
We
they
look
would
into
say.
everything.
We looked into every
We looked
claim
into
that comes
every
across
claim.
our desk.
We produced 127 copies of the book with all the stuff, including they called the different type of being the gypsies.
Yep.
They didn't ever use
That's
the word
offensive.
alien.
Weren't at some point that like the speculation was that 2 of the handwritings were from they're mentioned as the gypsies, like wasn't like person 2 and
I didn't
Jimmy,
come
weren't
across
they
that.
weren't they gypsies?
I didn't come across.
I want to
anything
say
like
that there was somewhere in there, and again, I don't have it in front of me, but I want to say in there somewhere when I was listening, they were talking about one of the annotations talks about the other 2 being gypsies.
That would actually make sense because in my notes, literally following that,
Yeah.
it says that in the annotations it includes the like weird symbols, and it talks about how it talked about how the advanced propulsion with magnetic forces had different effects on gravity.
Yeah.
It then continued to explain how human scientific theories were primitive and lacked completion.
right.
So yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, so I want to say somewhere along the line that one of the writers was human, and then it mentioned that the other
Yes.
2 were gypsy.
And then it also said that they were becoming dangerous because of their ignorance with these advancements
Yeah.
within the technology. So that would, that makes sense. I hadn't come across that, but that actually makes a lot of sense. But it also implied that they were able to become invisible, that they were able to avoid detection. There were all different kinds of fields in the invisible, and that humans were starting to discover them.
Right.
They called it Project Rainbow.
Yeah.
They didn't call it the Philadelphia Experiment. So in the margins, they called it
Yeah,
Project
Philadelphia
Rainbow.
Experiment was the name given to it by the theorists later on.
Yes.
But yeah, it was called Project Rainbow. And the idea of Project Rainbow was to make a boat so that was cloaked from being
Radar detectable.
Yes.
yeah, by the submarines. And they would, they had like wire cages they would put around the boat and then, get it
Faraday
ramped
cages.
up,
Faraday
little Faraday
cages,
cage. And the problem was they couldn't detect how because it worked with electromagnets, right? But they couldn't tell how long the electromagnets would work, so they have to take it in, kind of like getting your oil changed.
Yeah.
You'd have to bring it in and get it
Bring it in,
re-electromagneted.
re-magnetized.
But the new theory was that you do it once and you're good. You fire it up, bam, and you're good.
And that's all.
Was the theory of the Project Rainbow stuff that the Navy put out.
And
That's what they were
Project
trying to do.
Rainbow allegedly actually existed,
Yeah, it's a
not
real file.
including the Philadelphia Experiment part of it.
Yes.
Because it was basically Project Rainbow was the ramping up to, and then eventually the Philadelphia Experiment was like the last thing, and then they were like, "This is too dangerous. We
much.
shouldn't attempt it again," and then they abandoned it after that.
Wow.
That's basically
Or
what
did
those
they?
Or did they? As we know from
Well, according
So-
to
lovely
according
government.
to their
May have
records-
abandoned
Let's
that.
finish.
Yeah, let's talk about Jessup.
We're close to
get back to
the
Jessup.
end with Jessup. All right. So
no.
in 1959, as every good investigator,
Sounded like a history teacher.
what do you guys, children? What happened to Jessup? Come on, you guys know the answer.
He keel-hauled himself and was unalived.
Self-unaliving in 1959.
Yes, in a vehicle
Rest in peace, the
with
goat.
a hose running from his exhaust into his window and wet rags stuffed in all the cracks of this vehicle.
It's a lot
Sure.
of effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like every good conspiracy theory, his book of and the story gets made into a movie. Everything about the story is now dismissed, and now when you Google it, the Philadelphia Experiment, you come up with a movie.
Yep.
And
That
it's
was the
really
first
difficult.
thing I noticed.
It's really
The
difficult to
first
find
thing I
stuff. Yep.
noticed.
Yep.
And finding a pattern and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
So
And it spawned quite a few movies. Not all of them are called the
Yes.
Philadelphia
Yeah.
Experiment. There's a ton of movies that take the ideas and everything that happened
and
there and turn
there's
it
some that
into a
use
movie.
planes. And
Some of them
stuff,
use space and sci-fi,
Yep.
but they're all the same.
Yeah.
It's the same story.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Now let's talk
I
about.
feel like there was an X-Files episode that was close to that too. Anyways.
I'm sure.
So let's talk about
sure.
Carlos Allende. So it's alleged by many people that Carlos Allende is Carl Allen.
Okay.
After the fact.
I mean,
Gotcha.
He was never known as Carl Allen. He was known as Carlos Allende until after the fact. So,
You know what, though? When you take those two names, that's like they're not even trying.
Yeah, I know.
right.
That's like Mike Johnson going by Miguel Johnson.
Yeah, for real
It's
though.
not even like they're not even. Wow.
Well, here's
What
the
if
thing.
we just made it Spanish?
I literally just put that together. How bad of an attempt that was at hiding your name.
Yes.
Anyway,
So, Carl Allen, and so this, and I'm talking about Carl Allen. I'm not talking about Carlos Allende.
Oh.
If they are the same person, we don't know for sure, but it's theorized they're the same person.
Yeah.
Because later on, and anyway, we'll get to that. So, Carl Allen. So Carl Allen is the youngest of 4 children. He quit school at the age of 9. This would be important later because of his handwriting abilities.
and his spelling.
if you're criticizing
spelling-
His spelling gave a lot.
However,
yeah.
his whole life, he was described as being eccentric, extremely intelligent, and a wanderer. That's how they would describe
Yeah.
Carl Allen. After in posthumous or whatever.
Back when he finishes his hummus.
Did anybody else catch that earlier when he tried to say margins, he said margarines?
I did.
I did.
I'll have to listen to it again.
You a hungry boy today. Margarines and hummus.
But
Should get you some crackers or some pita or something.
yeah, apparently. So after that one was intentional. But so after he passed away, they then claimed that people called him also a big prankster.
Yeah.
But he was, but according to everybody, like, oh, that's so maybe he was a big prankster. We don't know. Carl Allen joined the Marines in 1942. In 1943, he was discharged and joined the Merchant Marines. Do you guys know what the Merchant Marines are? Merchant Marines are basically the nation's commercial shipping fleet. That they're civilian mariners, but they work with the military.
And they can be called into duty, but they're not required. They
Okay.
don't take orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in peacetime, they move cargo and transport for the military. During the wartime, they actually act as like an auxiliary to deliver like the personnel and
Right.
Yeah.
other stuff. And so like
They're highly trained.
and they're very and a lot of and apparently at this time, I don't know this whether it's still true, but at the time, a lot of ex-military went into that field if they were on ships and stuff like that. So now he gets a job as a merchant marine. So from 1943 to 1944, he served aboard the USS Andrew Forsyth. This is a real ship that its connection makes the story that Carlos Allende claimed plausible, because it shows that he actually had a service record and he was in the area and he served during World War II. He has the experience of like ships and vessels and stuff like that. And it's alleged that in October 1943, he would have witnessed the USS Eldridge become invisible and everything else. And he claimed that he saw it from a different ship, and this different ship would have been a ship that he would have been on as his career states.
Yeah.
So his story would line up as though he witnessed and saw these things and it was real. So Carl Allen, Carlos Allende claimed that he saw the ship disappear, that he could smell the ozone, and he could hear the sizzling sound, and he claimed that he put his hand into the force field, that the ship passed close enough that he could put his hand into the force field and could feel it. Wow. So Carl Allen fits the bill. Carlos Allende doesn't exist. You know, it's just a name. Are they the same person? We don't know. So Allende later claims that Einstein personally questioned him after the event and even kind of talked through the concept of how it became invisible to him. And he claimed that Einstein was morally troubled by the experiment.
Yeah.
Side note, this is the actual Einstein.
The actual Einstein.
Not the
actual Albert
code name
Einstein.
that we use.
Yeah. The actual Einstein.
This is the genius, not the PDF file.
So from 1943 to 1952, he reportedly served on 27 different ships before leaving maritime in 1952. So during this larger point, it paints him as somebody who has seen some things. He's been a part of a lot of different crews, a lot of different ships, been all over the world, collected oddities. The people around him, this is Carl Allen again, they claim that he collected a lot of oddities, and he would move in and out of contact with researchers, writers, all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
So that's Carl Allen. Mr. A in the book, we've now established, has the connection to it, could be Carl Allen.
Or Carlos Allende.
Or Carlos Allende.
I just keep picturing the Office meme in my head. The difference between the two pictures is Carl Allen and Carlos Allende.
Yes, they're the same.
Yeah.
They're the same picture.
Yes, they're the same. But that's kind of the gist of his past and how it could be plausible that they're the same person. It fits. It makes sense that Carl Allen is Carlos Allende because Carl Allen, as a person, fits the bill better than Carlos Allende not existing would fit because there's no proof of Carlos Allende.
Right.
There's no history. There's no.
Well, in researches, like there was some researchers that looked in and they found that I can't remember what word it was. There was a word that was so specifically misspelled that in all three of their writings, when they looked at all three of their writings, that they're like, it has to be the same person. I don't remember what the word was, but it was a very, a word that it was misspelled so specifically that they're like, the odds of three people getting it wrong in three different times is almost impossible.
Yeah. So that actually led to that solo thing led to them claiming that all three of the writers within the book were all Carl Allen.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is another theory. Yeah.
Is another theory that's out there. There's all the same person.
Yeah.
Then in 1962, the letters that he wrote would become published in pamphlet form and began circulating out. So Carl Allen's stuff begins getting published. Numerous different people start showing up claiming that they're Carlos Allende, which actually caused a lot of confusion as to who the actual Carlos Allende is.
Spartacus
because
moment.
Who is he? It was in 1969 that Carl Allen gave Jim Lorenz of APRO a copy of the Varo Edition with a confession attached. And he basically was saying that I was the one who wrote Mr. A. And he then went into the book and he marked out in brown ink the things that he falsified in his writings in the margins.
Yeah.
And
because he did admit that he made some stuff up.
Yeah. He's like, I made a lot up. But he said that he didn't make it all up. What he was trying to do was dissuade Jessup from continuing to research. And he did not back down that the Philadelphia experiment actually existed. He actually watched it. He actually saw all this stuff. All of that is true. He just made some stuff up in the book in order to dissuade Jessup. Okay? He then claims that the reason he lied was just to try to dissuade Jessup from being on the right track. So then in the 70s, he then comes out and claims that he went by a bunch of different aliases, including Carlos Miguel Allende, Carl Michael Allen, Colonel Carl Allen, Carl Christopher Allen, and Senor Professor and Colonel Carlos Miguel Cristofaro Allende.
Brother.
That particular name is the name that he used when he was writing to the one, the only Werner von Braun.
Okay. Wasn't ready for that tie-in.
Oh, yeah, and the last name was Carl Merritt Allenstein.
So, and to add to his merit, we talked in the past, people we come across that have there is zero monetary gain. There is no fame gain. There is nothing to gain from them doing whatever they're doing. To me, adds credibility. Mm-hmm. At no point did he ever go on any kind of tour. Did he ever go public with any of that? Most of when they said he came out and admitted these things, these were in very private, like conversations. Yeah. These were not like on a radio show or on a TV show. These were like in private conversations, and then somebody else revealed it, to somebody else, and somebody wrote about it. Like he never actually came out and said these things,
And it was in 1977 then that he doubled down that not only did he see the ship disappear, that he stuck his hand in it.
Yeah.
In 1979, there was a publishing of the Philadelphia experiment, Project Invisibility. They basically turned Allen's letters into a book and solidified this as a conspiracy theory with all of his expanded stories, with all of the notes that he had, along with Einstein's publications and stuff like that, in creating one giant government cover-up horror story conspiracy theory publication. And then in 1984, it becomes a movie. And at a later time in his life, when it was close to the end, he did finally give an interview to the Colorado newspaper where he asserted in kind of like a deathbed statement, so like a deathbed confession style thing. He asserted that Einstein was involved. He claimed that Einstein was a part of the project, that Tesla's work was involved, that all these men continued Tesla's work after he passed, and that the invisibility was a precursor to faster than light propulsion. So he kind of just like...
I forgot I read that Tesla's work was tied into this.
Yes.
Yeah. Phil, do you know when Tesla died?
42?
43.
Okay, I was going to say, I knew it was right there. Yeah.
9 months before this experiment.
Wow.
So then Carl Allen dies in 1994 in Greeley, Colorado at the age of 68. But the thing about, and maybe, did you find how he died?
It was very vague.
I couldn't pinpoint a way he died. Everything I came up with.
Everything I came up with said that he spent his last years with family and blah, blah, blah. He spent a little time in a mental facility.
I didn't catch that.
Pause.
Allegedly, there's no record of it, but the family said that he was in a facility for a little while.
He died from an unlisted cause and had a deathbed confession at 68?
Yes.
His deathbed confession came before he died.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's typically how that freaking works.
He died of a heart. It was a heart.
Well, I mean, like
thing,
decently before.
Like a while before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just he was getting, but still 68.
I know that's what I was thinking.
You are not.
Wasn't it like a blood clot complication or something?
No, that's the thing.
I don't know. There's no record of
his
family.
death.
His family will say this is how he died, but there's no record that he even.
But there's some people who claim that he self-unalived. There's some people that claim that he just was gone and there's no answer.
There's just a whole lot of we don't know anything about his life.
A lot of everything else claims
he got paper clipped.
Right, a lot of everything else claims he died from natural causes.
Yeah,
they won't tell you what the natural cause was, but he died of natural causes apparently.
Yeah.
I spent forever trying to pinpoint a cause of death. I could not come up with one.
No.
There's not an official record.
It was hard to even find an official date, to be honest. Like, there wasn't a whole lot.
It just in 94.
Just like he faded away.
He died in 1994, and that's all we know. Yeah. There's no date of death.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
So, that basically is the background of the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah. Did you come across Al Bielek?
I did not come across that.
Oh, man. Can I tell you just shortly about
Tell us.
So Al Bielek, I came across this guy. This was deep. This was deep in the rabbit hole, and I randomly came across this guy. So Al Bielek, he was born in 1907 and alleged later on in life, so in like late 90s, early 2000s, stopped taking his meds, all this stuff. He was in a facility, stopped taking his meds, and came up and said, had all these memories of allegedly he was on the boat in the Philadelphia experiment. He was part of it. He was a survivor.
He stopped taking his medicine and then he remembered?
And then he remembered.
That's the same thing as Phil Schneider claimed.
Yeah. So he remembered all these things and he started telling everybody about it. Not only was he there, but when that happened, he said what happened was anybody who didn't die in the experiment, they took them in and they basically reassigned them new assignments, top secret assignments, or they shipped them off to insane asylums. And so these people would be in the asylums talking about this crazy ship that disappeared. And people are like, okay, take your meds.
What year was this?
This would have been, obviously on the ship in 1943.
No, I mean, when did he stop taking his meds and come
It was
out?
been in the 90s. He was old.
Because that's around the same time as
He
Phil
lived
Schneider.
to be like 103, 104 years old. Like he lived to be very old, but about the same time.
Because that would be about the same time as Phil Schneider claimed
Phil
to have the
Schneider.
official letters.
Yeah. So he came out
the
about that time and was like, hey, I'm having these weird memories of this stuff. I was there, and not only was he there, so his reassignment, guess where he got reassigned according to his
I swear
memories.
if it's Montauk.
You win. Ding, ding, ding.
I want to punch something.
He got this guy got reassigned to Montauk as part of his reassignment, as his agreement to not have to go to the insane asylum with the rest of the crew, according to this guy.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. So that was an interesting one that I came across.
What a prize.
No, that's according to him. He got reassigned to Montauk. According to him.
Yeah, he said there was memory loss, there was displacement of time while he was on the ship.
When was
all this stuff?
When was Montauk declassified?
I'd have to look it up.
It was early 2000s, right?
I don't know.
It would have been
for sure.
after he passed, I think.
Maybe.
If I remember correct,
Maybe.
I might be thinking of the wrong thing. I'm trying to think of which thing that was. That I know there was something that was 2003 was a lot of the
Now,
stuff.
surprisingly enough, there is no military record of him ever serving on the Eldridge, ever serving on the Philadelphia experiment ship.
How many people were there records for that served on the Eldridge?
None. Hey,
See, I have a problem with that.
Phil, do you know what happened to the USS Eldridge?
No, I don't. What did happen to the USS?
They got
Eldridge?
shipped to Greece, and we
Actually, I
gave
did
it to
read that.
Greece,
I forgot. Yes.
we gave it to Greece as part of
Nice.
an agreement to, get it out of the country.
What year did we give it to Greece?
It was like 7 years later, 7 years later, after the alleged incident.
Yeah.
The weird thing about that is, why would we build a state-of-the-art
It was top-notch.
war machine
Yeah.
and give it to another country? When has our military ever been like, hey, this brand new thing we just built, just designed, we're going to give it to you?
Well, there was
no,
this
it's
one
always
time
it's
in,
always
like, the late
there's
40s.
past models.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
always- yeah,
like
exactly.
20, 30 years old, 40,
It's
50
always our
years old,
past
yeah.
models, not our state. But anyway,
No,
yeah.
this one was like, it's like 7 years later, they gave it to Greece as part of a contract with our ally kind of thing. Yeah, there's just a lot of weird
I came across that.
weird
too.
cover-uppery kind of thingies with this one, yeah.
So to give the full breakdown of the Philadelphia experiment, so it was an attempt to revolutionize physics. Einstein was allegedly working with this theory. Oh, no, Einstein was for sure working with this theory.
I was going to say, Einstein
He was very
absolutely
close. During
his period of time,
documented
he was
as being
very
part of
close
this-
to it.
this whole-
Because this comes right after
So-
the time space and theory of relativity, and this was the next step in that. And
And then all of a sudden they hit brick wall and didn't continue researching. I don't know. But then a Franklin Reno put Einstein and Tesla's theories into practice on the ship. And some complain that some allege that Tesla was heavily involved in this up until his passing. Allegedly, the Nazguls, the Nazis, were working with this concept as well during the war.
That
Whatever,
raised,
I
I
should
still
paperwork
have, I have more questions now about all of that,
Right.
though. I'm newly skeptical about the time frame of all of that.
He's got new questions.
I do have new questions.
But the alleged, the alleged original goal was simple: just try to bend light and cause the radar as well to go around the ship, making the ship invisible.
Right.
Cloaking.
That was the goal. Cloaking.
We're cloaking now.
They were originally trying to cloak. The witnesses allegedly claim that the generators powered up, a deep electrical hum filled the harbor, and a strange green-blue ionized fog began to form around the vessel with crackling and static, and then crew members reportedly became nauseous before the experiment even peaked.
So
And then it disappeared.
Okay, so for non-sciencey people like myself, so that's basically like the green-blue kind of stuff is like basically Northern Lights kind of.
I would assume similar
guess,
to
yeah.
that.
Could be.
Because it's electromagnetic, right?
Did you come across, and I didn't find anything that said this source was credible, but there were allegedly witnesses in Norfolk that saw like kind of a cloud, and then the ship appeared behind the cloud, and then the cloud kind of came back and the ship was gone. It was there for like a minute.
And I actually saw that it actually appeared there on their clocks, apparently. Like when they looked at it, it actually appeared in Norfolk while it was still in Philadelphia, because it appeared a minute before it disappeared.
Really?
And
I
then
did
it
not come across that.
reappeared 2 minutes later from when it appeared down there, but that would be 1 minute later back in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
But allegedly it appeared, so it was in two places at one time.
Okay, there's. Okay. So
Allegedly.
the part of the crew, part of the ship, right?
Yeah.
The green haze,
Yes.
the fog around it, the appearing and disappearing, and this sounds like a modern day, like actual day, like a Flying Dutchman. Really,
I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Pretty much.
So, okay, I hadn't thought about this. Mike, if assuming that your bit that you just said is legit and that it was in two places at once, was it in two places at once or was it outside of time?
two places in the same time, wouldn't it be? Yeah.
Well, right, but like I'm just wondering if it was.
So to the crew, it was a different time.
If
but
it was
to
in
the
different
world, it's in the same time, just two different places.
I wonder if it was only two places and at the same time.
Well, I've seen other things where there's reports that it showed up at like four other docks too.
That's what I'm wondering
like
about.
within 10 minutes showed up at like four other docks as well. There's other documentation too.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird.
But it wasn't just those two places. That it appeared all over the place.
You can get really
within
weird.
those
This
10
is a
minutes.
really different kind of anomaly than what we've run into talking about before.
And part of the reason, just to be honest, part of the reason I've never wanted to cover it was because it just seems so far fetched.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a large scale compared to
Yes.
what most of the other stuff is pretty small scale stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, this is a weird little anomaly
Right.
that nobody can really explain. And there's no real way to verify or confirm because it's
This was
individual
interesting.
experiences.
In the book,
This is observed.
it's something that was in the book. This is interesting because he said that in the book, something to consider is when you put a ripple in a different dimension to another dimension that understands dimensional travel, you put a beacon on yourself.
Yeah.
And we opened it up for them to come and say, and here we have all these UFOs and all these things happening in the 1940s, 1950s, because we put a beacon in that other dimension and let them know, hey, we're awake over here. Hey, we can come visit you guys. They're like, uh-oh, we better do something about this. I was like, oof, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alternate hypothesis. So I have two alternate hypotheses. One, what if this is just working with the demonic in the same way as doing the A-bomb stuff was working with the demonic, and it's just technology that begins to warp time and space the same way that angels and fallen angels would see time and space?
I buy into that hypothesis pretty heavily. Again, this is just, and that's what I was saying is this is just such a large scale version of that compared to what we've explored before.
Yeah.
And alternative theory number 3, and this one might be the easiest to believe, that all of this was propaganda.
Yeah.
The whole thing. From start to finish, propaganda in order to always point to aliens as a threat, as an issue, as a source of all of this other stuff, because even in this, there's different aliens.
And again,
that are
you hinted at this with the German organization talking about, you guys need to be using UFOs. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so shortly after, that's what it was. After Operation Paperclip, I made the connection and I messed up the timeline, but Operation Paperclip happens, and then all of a sudden we have all of these UFO stuff, and then all of a sudden we're coming out with a UFO book, and then all of a sudden we're, and all these letters occur. What if this is just intentional disinformation? Yeah. And maybe the Philadelphia experiment was a real experiment in which they did make major advances, but not necessarily in time and space, but in cloaking. Yeah. And maybe they successfully did create a magnetic cloak in which they wanted to dissuade our competitors from researching. And so they created this giant fake ruse.
If that's the case.
Claim this exists in order to. Now,
that's my thing is in the middle of the war this happened.
Right. And so now post all of this, if you look up Philadelphia experiment, you come up with a movie, you come up with this story. You're not coming up with what actually did occur and why we gave a ship to a fellow or a different country 7 years after we created it.
If that's the case, I think that's the scariest hypothesis as well as easiest to believe, because that is so well thought out and so in depth, like the amount of effort and coordination to make all of this fit reasonably is nuts. Like that's some crazy deep psyop crap. I do not like it.
And part of what ended up causing me to want to do the Philadelphia experiment as an episode was how connected it is to everything else we've done.
Yeah. And
so again, if it was a psyop, or it was, let's say it's not an alternative, let's say it's a demonic thinking, and the demonic is influencing the psyop. Now we have a long history of the demonic trying to create an issue that later on will become a
problem.
That's not
playing
an actual
the long
problem.
game.
Because that's how they do things.
Very Kingdom Wars, Jack Kavanaugh.
Very.
Here was another thought that came across too.
Yeah.
Another thought I had too is we did this experiment with a boat and hundreds of people, and people saw it. So we move it to Montauk and we put it in a bunker, and we shrink the Faraday cage, and we do it one-on-one rather than
so do you think
a whole ship full of people.
And so do you think that I kind of had a similar ish thought in terms of like all of the smaller scale stuff that we've talked about has been after this, right? So maybe this was where like we had a big jump in tech, and it was like, whoa, that was a little too visible. Right?
People saw
and so
that.
then they're like, we need to back off on at least the public.
And then they changed the records and say, well, the Eldridge wasn't even in Philadelphia. It wasn't even in Philadelphia. All the records show that it was in a different dock.
And that's when you look up, when you immediately, like, so if you were to go to ChatGPT and ask, ChatGPT is like, here's the issues with it. This boat was never even there. Okay. But like,
according to who?
Prove it. I can. That's like I could say
proof it's on microfilm in the records of where they were at.
That's like I could be like, oh yeah, on January 3rd in 1995, I was never in Alliance. I was in Hemingford at the time. Like, prove it.
Those are not hard records to change.
You can't prove it back then. Now today,
those are not hard records to change.
Like today's technology, it'd be hard to prove that you were or weren't somewhere.
Flock cameras will really screw that up for you.
Real. But back then, it's whatever the government decided the records were. That's the records. Especially a secretive ship that's state of the art that is not going to have its.
You're not going to say where it's at.
You're never going to say where it's at.
Now we flipped back because they can AI you into anywhere.
Basically, that's true.
Like we had like a 20-year window where everything was traceable and verifiable, and now it's going completely the other way back to like it's so saturated. Like you can't prove anything again.
Exactly. That's where we're at.
That's crazy.
But anyway, so but I'll say all that just before we to close though. Like that was part of the reason I didn't buy into the Philadelphia experiment, and I don't know where I really sit on did it happen, did it not happen.
It's a fun
But-
story. Definitely a fun story.
There's something there that is worth looking into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whether or not, okay, I guess I shouldn't say whether it happened or didn't happen. I feel like something happened.
Yes.
We just don't know where the truth is.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Where's the line? Where's the full story?
There's not enough
Something happened.
credible eyewitnesses for me to fully believe that that it moved.
Yeah.
That
Right.
it teleported.
Yeah.
Well, but there's been allegedly quite a few people that have come out there that had come out and quote unquote claimed, but there was never any
But of course,
again, there's no proof
But
ever.
of course,
That's
there
what
was
I'm
a
saying.
whole
It's not
troop of people
verifiable.
that came out and said they were on the ship, and I came across that too.
Yeah,
was
there's a ton.
crew of people that came out and said that it didn't happen and it's all made up.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I don't know if I believe them either. I mean,
That's like I say, and that's not to say that
It
I
seemed
don't
too
believe that
formal.
it happened. I'm
It
just
seemed
saying
too
there's
planned.
not
No,
enough for me
absolutely.
to be confident.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Either
agree with
way.
you 100%.
Yeah.
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 But even if there was 100 people who came out and said I was on the ship, it disappeared. It's so far fetched that it's hard to believe
Right.
even a bunch of eyewitnesses.
at the very least, it's such an interesting story that it's spawned books and tons of movies and discussion and all the things.
and
Well,
at
and
the
there's-
base, at the very least, go ahead.
And there's so many little details about the telling of it that it just seems like the same familiar sources are leaving their signature
yes.
on the
Yeah.
event.
Yes.
It's like we're starting to.
Yeah,
It's worth mentioning.
and
You got to read
you know,
between the
and
lines.
I think
out what's
the craziest thing that is for me that while researching it after the fact, now looking back, the craziest piece of information that makes me go, what is the fact that the government takes this book with the notes and creates 127 copies to distribute internally. What?
See.
Yeah, I know. That's what got me too.
At the very least, our
That's what got
government
me.
was like, hey, we should probably look into this a little bit at the very least.
Yeah. So
Or let's spread this misinformation.
yeah.
Or
Why
let's
would they
spread
do
this.
that?
Let's use this for a purpose.
I wanted to say something about
Something
that. Just
Yeah.
an observation. You mean to tell me that the literal manual that they distributed for naval operations for years was written by the father of conspiracy theories, who was also suicidal, the original Schizo poster, and two aliens? Like, what?
Yes. And it was pirated.
They pirated. They pirated
Without
a
his
book
permission.
written. Yeah. Just, like, what do you expect us to believe here? Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
that's
Philadelphia experiment.
insane.
I'm more confused coming out of it than I was going in.
Definitely. I thought I had a pretty good understanding, the basic understanding. But this went pretty deep.
I thought I
Deeper
did
than
too.
thought it
And
was.
I really,
It's
I'm
like
genuinely
I've been in the fog cloud there.
Yeah.
looking
It's like,
into
what
it.
happened? What?
Right.
Yeah.
Looking into it, I just assumed it was going to be, hey, this is going to be far-fetched. It's going to stay far-fetched. I'm not really going to believe in it, but we want to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I got done and I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't necessarily believe it, but I don't not believe it. And so it's no longer far-fetched, but it's no longer, and it's like, I'm in this weird zone of like, I don't even know what to believe now.
And we talk about the lore of the show and how it's developed
Yeah.
and things like I would have never have made the meds, the psych connections, and if we had done this earlier.
yeah.
There's
That makes
no way
me
I
want
would
to
have
go
made
back.
that connection.
true.
Yeah.
That's something we've come across.
The
It makes me wanna
Montauk
go back.
connection is so
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
It makes me want to go back to some of these
We need to.
topics
We
that
need to go
like,
back to some older
Yeah.
topics and
revisit and
revamp them with our new
figure
knowledge.
out, yeah,
our
new knowledge.
thought processes. Yeah.
Goodness.
But with that, the Kandahar stuff's been in the news lately again. I saw. Do you remember the Kandahar Giants?
Yeah.
It's making its way back in. Maybe we'll have to retouch that. Anyway, with that, thank you guys. Don't forget patreon.com/BA Bigfoot.
Yep.
For all your supplement needs, go to insanelabs.com and use the code BA Bigfoot for up to 45% off on different sports nutrition needs. And don't forget to.
Be your BA best.
We love you guys. You guys are amazing. Don't disappear in
To a
green fog. Okay, bye.
Bye.
In the ancient days days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet heeding the Maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?